I'm Asia Corey reporting to you live from the NFL Halftime News Report with breaking news. We have some information regarding the illegal action between Coach John Peck and player Robert Fletcher. While Peck claims to have received approval by his team's owner, Robert Fletcher claims to be cheated by Peck for illegally signing him a contract that wasn't authorized by the National Football League. Here to tell his side of the story is John Peck.
Thank you, Asia. Well, first off, I'd like to clarify that I have done no wrong. I myself, in a way, have been cheated. I was given full approval and rights to this contract, as you can see shown by the signature. And therefore, I was lied to as well. I was misinformed and I had no intention to cheat little boy Fletcher here. It's not my fault the team owner decided to void the contract. It was valid. I've done no wrong.
Interesting. Well, let's see what little boy Fletcher has to say about that, because he is here as well.
Thanks, Asia. I'm sure everyone agrees that I'm the victim here. I was cheated. Peck knew very well that the contract was useless when he gave it to me, but he failed to inform me. I trusted Coach Peck, and I gave him all I had for that contract. And now I'm left with nothing. To me, he's a cheater who needs to be put straight no matter what, and give me my money back.
Well, viewers, now that you have heard both sides of the story, we have some exclusive video clips to show you of what actually happened.
Here you go, Peck. This is the contract for unlimited ads.
Thank you. I've been wanting this for so long. Now I can finally have it.
Yep, well, you are one of the foremost trusted coaches, so here you go.
Thank you. Well, I've had this contract for 3 years now, and I think I'm ready to give it to you, Fletcher.
Thanks, Peck. That means a lot.
Well, what seems to be just an exchange of a contract from team owner to coach to player is actually a huge scandal, for the contract was never Peck's to give to Fletcher. Well, we'll be right back after a short break with the guests who will clarify this mess once and for all. But until then, we'd like to hear from you, the audience. So tweet who you think is right, Peck or Fletcher. Hashtag Fletcher versus Peck.
I'm the world's worst judge, and I love hearing you argue about your case. This is gonna be real fun for you.
When life treats you rough, make sure you're in good hands. I'll say, are you in good hands?
And we're back to the Fletcher versus Peck story. To review the case, Fletcher agreed to a contract with Peck that was unauthorized, therefore he had no right to pass it on to Fletcher. Now, let me introduce you to our special guest, a representative straight from the NFL.
Oh, please, just call me Chief.
Okay, welcome, Chief. So, what can you tell us about this case and what is the decision to settling the case?
Well, right now the decision is still pending. The real case is between Peck and the team owner. Who's more guilty? Peck is guilty for giving a contract that has recently been considered invalid by the team owner. But the team owner is guilty for having a valid contract and having a business flow through that contract without declaring it invalid. I'll be giving my final official decision on this matter at 4 o'clock, 20 minutes from now.
So, it seems like there has been some illegal action occurring. Well, there you have it, folks, straight from the sources. Let us know what you think that should happen next. Will Peck be held guilty for giving an invalid contract to Fletcher, or will the retreat of the validation of the contract, when originally made by the team owner, be considered guilty of breaking NFL rules? Tweet in your response while the Chief gives the 411 on the results of this case. Meanwhile, here's Peck and Fletcher behind the scenes right now.
Peck, you suck. How could you? You knew that the team owner canceled the contract, yet you still took my money from me and fooled me into signing it. You'll get your repercussions for this. What you did was dishonest and manipulative.
Well, I used it for 3 years. That contract was mine, and mine to use, and mine to do whatever I want with it. Can't you see it's unfair that the team owner took it back?
Honestly, all I can see is my empty pocket, because I gave you and your contract all that I had left.
Alright, and here back with the Bible say of the case, the Chief.
I've come to a conclusion and the decision has been made. The team owner is found guilty. It is against NFL rules and regulations to pass a valid contract and void it. Although team owners do have some power of their own and can make their own contracts, they cannot break the NFL rules in the process of their decision making. Therefore, the contract is now valid and Fletcher gets what he originally sought when signing the contract.
After much time and energy, finally the two parties have resolved their issues, and peace can be restored to the team. This is Asia Corey reporting to you live from the ESPN News Center.
Alright, so basically for a project, we used an extended metaphor in order to compare the case Fletcher versus Peck to the National Football League. And because we were first going to do the NFL lockdown of 2011, but then we found it useful using a problem between a coach and a player in order to express the confusion that occurred during the case of Fletcher versus Peck. So in this analogy, the NFL representative reflects the Chief Justice Marshall, who declared the legislation voiding the Property Act as unconstitutional. And then the team owner represents the Georgia state legislator, who negated all the property rights established under an earlier law. In general, the show kind of demonstrates the relationship between the federal and the state governments by comparing it to the NFL, as each team and owner has its own set of rules that have to abide to the rules of the NFL, which the NFL establishes.
The ruling declared the negating of property rights that were given under a previous law as unconstitutional because it violates the contract clause. It was ruled that contracts signed under the original law will have to be valid. The court accepted that the state legislator had the power to repeal any act of a former legislator, but they cannot take back the actions that were made when that act was still valid. The court held that the 1796 law was an unconstitutional ex post facto law that wanted to penalize the original purchasers for selling the land to other buyers. Therefore, Fletcher got his title to the land.
All of this led to further protection of property rights. Fletcher versus Peck is one of the earliest cases in which the Supreme Court asserted its right to intervene in state laws which were contradictory to the Constitution.